Hey everyone, it's Fxver here, and today we're taking a closer look at one of the best gaming CPUs of the last decade, not just for raw performance, but for what it represented. The Ryzen 7 5800X3D wasn't just fast, but it changed the way we think about gaming CPUs. It extended the life of the AM4 platform, which is still selling strong even in 2025, and it proved that smart cache design could compete with core counts and high frequency. Is it still a valid choice today? We'll see by pairing it with the latest gen high-end GPU, an RTX 5080. To really understand the CPU bottlenecking, we need to go deeper than just average frame rates. So I built a custom RTSS overlay that shows GPU and CPU frame time. Frame time is how long it takes to render a single frame. In a gaming system without a CPU bottleneck, CPU frame time should stay lower than the GPU one. GPU usage percentage. In an ideal gaming scenario, the GPU usage should stay above the 95%, meaning the graphic card is working at full potential. GPU and CPU wait times. Wait time is how long the components stay idle waiting for the other to finish. High GPU waits often points to a CPU bottleneck. GPU and CPU busy times. Busy time is how long each component actively works on a frame. Between present time. This is the time between completed frames being presented, basically the global frame time for the entire system. All these metrics are combined into an algorithm that tells us in real time whether we are limited by the CPU or the GPU. In an ideal gaming scenario, we want to be GPU limited. That means the GPU is doing the heavy lifting and the CPU is fast enough to not slow it down. So let's move to the real world benchmarks. In Cyberpunk I choose to record in CPU heavy areas because the built-in benchmark is totally GPU bound and doesn't reflect the real gameplay. As you can see, we are in 4K with DLSS. The GPU is the limiting factor, running at 99% capacity. The GPU frame times, the wait times for the GPU are higher, as expected. Switching to the 4K DLSS quality, which is more or less equivalent to 4040p, we can see that the GPU is still the limiting factor, although the CPU is working a bit more than before. You can see this from the increased CPU temperature and busy times. In 4K DLSS performance, which is more or less like 1080p, the situation changes. Here the CPU is strongly limiting the system, and the GPU is not going beyond the ideal 95% usage. Now in a very common scenario, at 4040p with DLSS quality, which is more or less 960p, the CPU is strongly limiting the video card. The CPU busy time is particularly high, as are the frame times. When we enable ray tracing, the load on the GPU increases, but it's not fully utilized because the CPU is working very hard. If we enable path tracing, we see some improvements, and the CPU no longer limits the GPU as much, but it still prevents from reaching its full potential. As we can see from the CapFrameX data log, the average frame rates didn't change much, but the low percentiles increased substantially when switching to the 7800X3D. We see the same pattern in the other games tested. So let's move in STALKER 2. This game is pretty heavy CPU side, and as you can see from the overlay, we are a bit limited with the AM4 CPU. Doom: The Dark Ages is a very well optimized game and gives a smooth experience, as you can see from the frame time graph. The situation here is the same. Average side is even smaller difference. I hope the video was clear and that you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. If you're interested in these overlays to monitor your own setup, you can find them on my Patreon with the link in the description. Also, you can find a more complete comparison between the two CPUs with the Capframe X data logs on More Games. As always, thanks for the support. If you have any question, leave them in comments and I'll see you in the next one.